There are multiple groups of stateless people in the world, but today I'm talking about one of them, the Rohingya Muslims. It's a heavy topic, but so important to understand. So, who are the Rohingya? The Rohingya are a Muslim ethnic minority from Myanmar denied citizenship by their government. In 1948, Myanmar, previously called Burma, gained independence from the British. The 1947 constitution recognized the Rohingya as citizens of Myanmar, granting them voting rights and representation. Several Rohingya were even elected to the Legislative Council. But in 1962, there was a military coup, and this coup suspended Myanmar's constitution. The minorities were targeted, including the Rohingya. Now, in 1982, the military had a new citizenship law. This law recognized 135 ethnic groups as national races but excluded the Rohingya. Suddenly, the Rohingya people had no citizenship in their own home country. With this, legal discrimination and racism towards them increased dramatically. Now that the statelessness label was imposed on them, it meant that they didn't belong to any country legally. That's a big deal. Let's talk about why. In a previous video, I explained why a state matters. It gives you legal citizenship, identity, and rights like education and security. To simplify it with a very basic example, think of statehood like a house deed. Without a house deed, you can't claim that a particular house is yours to live in legally. Being a citizen of a state means you get legal protection, a passport, and a voice. But without that deed, you're stuck. So what does that look like for the Rohingya in their daily lives? Being stateless means they face challenges simply existing. Over 1 million fled to Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar camps. This is a huge camp housing the displaced. This is a camp for the forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals. This is what the Bangladeshi state calls it, the forcibly displaced Myanmar nationals, rather than refugees. By not identifying them as refugees, they are denied full legal protections in Bangladesh too. Those that remain in Myanmar continue to face persecution and violence. Without citizenship, they can't work legally, they can't access proper healthcare, or they can't move freely. They are basically trapped. In many cases, they're even barred from jobs. They lack legal protection, so they're vulnerable to discrimination and poverty. Without citizenship in a sovereign state, they cannot be issued standard passports. So they have severe restrictions on travel, and they don't have a state to fight for their rights. Imagine if this happened to a particular ethnic group in Sri Lanka. If it was my ethnic group, it would mean that as a Sri Lankan, I might be able to call myself Sri Lankan, but it wouldn't mean anything. I cannot use my Sri Lankan identity to get anywhere or do anything because my country officially rejects me. It would mean that I cannot enjoy citizenship rights in this country, cannot get access to state infrastructure and services like governance, like education, like healthcare. It would basically be a huge challenge. The reason I made this video was because we sometimes miss out on understanding how citizenship and identity works. And personally for me, learning about this taught me a lot, and I wanted to share. So understanding statelessness can help us engage in conversations about these crises in a more informed way. And unless and until their issues are resolved, stateless people are in a continuous cycle of struggle.